This is the 365 Days of Multi-Level Marketing Journey to Freedom podcast with Batchelor, where Rome shares his daily journey from down and out to total financial freedom in 1 year, along with pro tips, tricks, strategies, and tools to help you join in on the journey. Now, here's Rome with today's Journey to Financial Freedom podcast.
So we've been talking a lot about your own efforts, your own results, goal setting, getting a coach or someone that can help you see clearly what you need to do next to advance your business, and prospecting, both tools that we use for leads and prospecting. We've talked about wording, such as the sequence of words, using the word because, using the affirmative no in your prospecting versus the affirmative yes, which split studies show you'll get a higher result. That's in some of the earlier podcasts. We talked about yesterday about low pressure prospecting, where you're not putting a lot of emotional gas in every phone call or in every approach. You're actually nonchalant because you don't want to raise resistance. You want to be have so many leads that you don't really care because you're in a hurry to get to them all from that day's supply of leads. And you don't care if they say yes or no. You want to say yes, but you really don't care and you don't have time to convince them, right? So you use a smart approach and a low emotional commitment in your energy to what they say, because you're not selling, you're just offering, right? And then you're increasing your response in prospecting. So every time you bring somebody in new, you're building by addition. See, network marketing is superior than the traditional business model because obviously it has low risk, low startup cost. You don't have to meet a big number every month right off the bat just to pay the bills. But in addition to that, and if it fails, which most of them do, then you don't have all that debt to pay back in network marketing like a traditional business. However, there's another reason, and it might even be bigger and more important than that, as to why network marketing is a superior business model than the traditional business. Because the traditional business runs an ad, hires salespeople, does a marketing campaign to get customers to sign that contract or to walk in the door one at a time. It's building by addition. And with a lot of massive energy and some smart approach and a great offer, you can actually make a living building in a traditional business by a whole bunch of addition, but that's where it stops typically. Whereas in network marketing, you're building by multiplication. See, you're bringing in people and then they go out and do the same thing and it explodes. However, the problem is that looks good on paper, but most of the time it doesn't happen. You bring in 10 people and you're the only one doing anything. That's what's typical. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes you're fortunate, but typically that's what happens. And you're like, where is this duplication? Where is this magic that's supposed to happen? I don't see it happening. Why not? What's wrong? This just might not work for me. And that's what people sometimes think and feel. And there's a reason for it. So back to what we were saying about multiplication versus addition, often there's a delay in the result. Sometimes it just takes a little more time. For example, 2 plus 2 equals 4. And 2 times 2 equals the same 4. Same result. Same result. But then you carry that a little further, and 2 plus the 4 equals 6, but 2 times the 4 now equals 8. A noticeable 25% difference. But now it just expands from there because you add another 2 to your 6 and now you're at 8, but you multiply that 8 and now you're at 16. You've got double the result with the same energy by using a different approach. Carry it one more time just for illustration, because the gap expands further and further in time. It becomes no contest. Now, 16 times 2 is 32, but 8 plus 2 is 10. So when you're building by multiplication, now it's more than 3 times the result. Same energy, different business model. But yet in the beginning, it was the exact same result. You didn't see the magic happen initially. So yes, there's a delay building by multiplication. You don't see anything magic happen typically in the very, very start. It looks the same as building by addition, you adding people. Now, keeping that in mind and putting that to the side at the same time, there's a reason why it doesn't happen. See, multiplication happens because of duplication. And duplication happens because there's a law called inertia. And that law of inertia says things that are still tend to stay still. And things that are in motion tend to stay in motion. Things that are still tend to stay still. And things that are in motion tend to stay in motion. So what do you have? Dexter Yeager, the number one earner in the history of this industry and of this profession, has made the statement that he doesn't build with a follow-up program. He builds with a follow-through program. He said, because when I follow up, it implies that I start something, then I stop, and then I start it again. I resume. And I stop, and then I follow up, and I resume. He said, that's a follow-up program. And every time I stop and start and stop and start, it increases my chances of failure. He said, so I do a follow-through program, which means there's motion going on between my connection with my team. There is something happening in between. Between our conversations, between our meetings, there's something that they're doing that we agree upon and we talk about. It's called an assignment. It's called an assignment. And it's very important for the assignment to be something that is so simple that they can do it quickly for the early, like day one. For example, you can start giving assignments, and it's recommended to do that before they even join. You don't want to wait till they join to start giving assignments. That's stupid, because you're stopping and hoping to restart and that they don't change their mind and don't actually get in, or do anything. You want there to be a continual flow if you want this magic to happen, called momentum and multiplication through duplication. So you have to have motion going on. The assignment needs to be something, A, that is beneficial, has real value to them. And B, is something they can do between this discussion and the next one, legitimately. And in the beginning, you want to start small and move up to bigger and bigger assignments over time. So from small to big, from small to big, from teeny to big. The first assignment needs to be something that can be done in maybe 20 minutes or so. There's not a set number, but it has to be something they can do hopefully day one. As soon as they say, yeah, I'll look at it, well then when do you think you'll have time to look at it? See, even in the prospecting, you're actually setting the tone for assignments. What problem is when people decide to join, recruiters, sponsors, tend to, novices, amateurs, tend to stop the assignments there and wait for that person to make them rich. That's ridiculous. You have to continue the process. So it might be a training video. It might be a training article. It might be a training website. It might be a checklist. It might be making their list. However, typically the first assignment needs to be something that has real value to them in the form of instruction, encouragement, and building their belief. Instruction, encouragement, and building their belief. It could be watching a product video. It could be watching an upline's training. It could be listening to a recorded training call. It could be reading a small book, an ebook or something. So the assignment needs to be something they can do quickly and follow through. Now, you're not their boss. You're their friend and their coach. You're their friend and their coach. And what you have to do is highlight the importance of doing the task and setting an agreed upon time when they can do it. Jim, you decided this looks good to you. You said you probably are thinking about joining on Friday. However, man, when I joined, I did it very similar to you. I saw a couple things. I talked to somebody. I was introduced to somebody other than the person that first shared it with me, and I liked the feeling I got. I liked what I heard, and I decided, why not? Why not give it a try? Let's see what happens. I certainly don't have another plan and I'm open to suggestions. So let's just see. Maybe this can work for me. I'm going to go ahead and get in. Hey, I like the product. That seems pretty cool. How about I get in next Friday, or next week, or day after tomorrow, or tomorrow night? In the meantime, what they did was they suggested that I watch this video. They told me that in this video is the key that's going to make or break the likelihood of my success. And somewhere right in the middle, he says something that is so crucial that it is the biggest key for starting right and increasing my chances of hitting that $10,000 a month in the next 12 months goal that I've set. So it was very important that I did it. And so I did it. I actually did it. And my sponsor wanted me to do it that day, and I was able actually to do it that day. But I got sidetracked and forgotten. He called me back and said, hey, did you do it yet? You didn't get back to me. And I had to go back and watch it. I did it right then, and I called him back. But, I wasn't in the habit of building a business, so I got distracted. So he helped me get through it, and we did it. So I'm going to ask you, when do you think